It's Wednesday, June 5th. I'm at the launching ramp in Kalama, Washington. It's really a nice ramp, but man, it's steep. But it certainly makes it easy to get the boat off the trailer. They have a fairly active lumber mill over here. There's a train yard here. The town's pretty cute, and it's well known for the antiquing here. There's 3 or 4 little shops that are malls and so forth of antiques. This marina is in really nice shape, and they even have fuel, which is a surprise. They also, at the other end of this marina, they have a guest dock that's really nice. It was 6 months ago, it was unusable and in awful shape, and it looks like they've replaced all the headwalks and that guest dock, so the place looks really good today. I'm here because the Rose Festival fleet is coming into Portland. There's a couple of Canadian ships and a couple of Coast Guard vessels, and the Navy is sending 2 or 3 or 4 ships. I'm not really sure. They didn't. They don't publish who's coming and which ships are coming and exactly when they're going to be here and so forth. But they're supposed to arrive in Portland between 3 and 5 this afternoon, and it's now about 9 o'clock in the morning here in Kalama, so they'll have to pass through here soon. Okay, we're ready to go. This range marker is part of the navigation system. When you're in the river, the Army Corps of Engineers dredges the channel, of course, but there's 2 of these. There's one behind it up there that you can't see, and you line 2 of them up, and that shows you the course channel. The entire river is covered by these markers. Here's what those range markers look like from the water. One of the reasons that I launched in Kalama today is that I'd seen this sailboat from the freeway. You can see up there that freeway. I commute by here every day and happened to catch a glimpse of this one day, and it's been sitting here for months now. It's funny, it's kind of ironic given the navigational beacons right there that it ended up on the rocks or on the pilings, wherever it is, whatever it's stuck on. Okay, I'm still in 50 feet of water. And it looks like we can get pretty close. This may be the same sailboat. You know, I do a long commute from Kelso, Washington into Portland. It's about an hour every day. And when I crossed the 205 bridge over the Columbia River, there's a couple things there. And in one spot, there had been a sailboat. You know, some homeless guy had been living in it apparently. And it ended up on the bank at low water. And then it was gone. And that was kind of like the same time this one showed up. So it could very well be it's the same boat, just drifted down here, came afloat and in higher water like this, and then drifted down to get hung up here. Okay, here is the main reason I came out today. This is a Simrad multifunction device. The electronics on the boat, of course, are spectacular because I love this stuff. But you can see the little black triangles, and if you poke them, that's the HMCS Nanaimo, that's the HMCS Edmonton. So going back to the Nanaimo, I have it also on the marinetraffic.com website, and they show pictures and so forth of the ship. And even though I'm on the boat, I'm right next to I-5, so I have very good cell service here. So that's one of the ships that's coming up. And you can see there's the Nanaimo. That was the Edmonton, right? There's the Alton. I have no idea what that is. Somewhere around in here I saw the, there it is, Coast Guard cutter Steadfast. So it's coming as well. But they're still quite a long ways, because I'm up over here somewhere. And it being the Pacific Northwest, it's started to rain. You can see the wind's blowing us way more than the current today. Okay, it's raining, getting cold. But that's no big deal, because I always have tons of spare coats, spare wool shirts, and clothes on the boat. And I have this thing that I bought ages ago, and I think it's been discontinued. I don't think they make it anymore, but it will allow me to make tea, which is always a glorious thing. I always have water on the boat too. Just drinking water. You never know what you're gonna need it for. And given the cold weather, cold and nasty weather, it'd be really nice to have a cup of tea. Oops. We'll just let that get toasty warm. Yeah, can't go wrong with that. teacup was kind of dirty, but that's alright. I rinsed it kinda kinda okay the last time. So there's my normal wheat green tea. I drink gallons of this stuff. Garbage can, always one of the most important parts of my trips. Okay, one of the things about all these electronics, despite how cool they are, they're also rather complex. And I have an issue. As you can see, I have an AIS transceiver aboard the boat. And that is the system that allowed us to look at those ships on the on the screen and show where they are. But right where the end of my thumb is, that's where I'm anchored right now, and I don't show up. So I'm obviously not transmitting. Just another item to add to the list. Seems like there's always something, huh? But wait, I know it's receiving. I know the AIS system is receiving because I see all these ships and so forth on the device. One of the things that's always funny about anchoring is that you never know what the balance is going to be between how the wind blows you and how the current drags you. There's current through here of about 1 knot, and it's dragging me downstream, but the wind is blowing me upstream. In the old days, when I had a bigger sailboat, the keel in the water would pretty much ensure that the current had its way with you. There was never or rarely ever enough wind blowing to push you around like this. You'd swing around at the hook maybe a little bit on the hook, on the hook. Does that sound nautical? Anchoring a little bit, but for the most part the current, because of the big keel on them, would dictate which way you faced. On this boat, you know, there's really nothing in the water, so the wind tends to predominate a little more. But it's always a crapshoot, trying to figure out which is going to be driving the bus. I like boating at night. But this is the sort of thing that makes it a little higher risk. If you can't see the junk in the water, you're taking kind of a chance. You certainly wouldn't want to go fast at night. I always cruise just at idle speed, essentially 5 or 6 knots. Going any faster, you're really risking hitting something you can't see. For whatever reason, probably because it sits for a year at a time without being run, the kicker, I have a tendency to, it has a tendency to be difficult to start. So whenever I go out, I try to fire it up at least once, let it run for a few minutes. Once you get it cooking, it runs fine. It's currently in reverse right now, pushing against the anchor rod after our talk earlier. You can see that it's pulling right against the anchor. And we're in about 8 feet of water. And we're right off of Martin Island next to I-5, and there's that little slough right there. That little slough is kind of a fun place to park and camp overnight. There's a couple of, it's over here, you can see the island looks pretty nice. I've never actually gotten off the boat on the island. There's a couple of docks, but they float in the middle of that pond in there, and they don't, there's, you know, no good access to the land. I think the land is actually private. At one point they were going to put at least the rumor I heard was they were going to put a resort on this island, but the Department of Transportation wouldn't give them an exit here. Hey, look, there's the tug, the Samantha S, Samantha B, whatever, I can't quite see it there, but I can see anything I need to here. I wonder if that will ever come into focus. There, maybe it did.
Where is it at?
Ah, see, it's the Samantha S. Radio call sign WDK 305. It is 115 feet long, 46 feet wide. It's going 13 knots. Under engine, it draws 17 feet. I'm currently in 8.5 feet. So he couldn't hit me if he wanted to. Oh, destination is sea trials. But that was probably whoever put it in when they mounted it. That destination thing is usually wrong, I've noticed. On the Class A, if you see somewhere in here, I saw, yes, AIS Class A, they can change the destination on their system on board the boat, on board the ship. I can't do that on mine. Mine's a Class B. But they don't seem to typically update that. Probably too much work. They'd be doing it every day. I searched for on the screen for the Steadfast. I scrolled back through here trying to find it. That's the Ivanov. Steadfast was here, and you can see it is 16 miles from me. And let's see, this probably tells how fast he's going. Oh, yeah, it says it's 16 nautical miles from me. Time of closest approach, 1 hour and 23, because he's doing 11 knots. That's the point of the whole AIS system, is to prevent collisions, which is particularly important to us small boats. You know, the reality is, I don't want to get run over by one of these big guys. The Coast Guard just said, hey, they've got
all stations, all stations. This is United States Coast Guard Sector, Columbia River. United States Coast Guard Sector, Columbia River. United States Coast Guard Sector, Columbia River. Break. Command Coast Guard District 13, broadcast notice to mariners 0402-19er, Columbia River, Crims Island to St. Helens. The dredge Seance will be conducting dredging operations on the Columbia River on 05 to 06 June between Slaughter's Bar, river marker 63, and Lower Double-Bound Bar, river marker 67. Mariners should exercise caution when transiting near dredging operations and reduce wake. Break.
Okay, according to the AIS system, the Steadfast is 3.2 miles away, and at about 3.3 miles was when I could barely see her. That was my 7 multiplier binoculars. The camera is 4 times. This is the Steadfast coming through. My favorite comment about cool ships like this is that I would look really good driving something like that. The boat's not rocking very much. Look how calm it is. It's really nice. It's not raining or anything. But still, I worry I'm going to make you seasick as you watch this. I have traditionally always carried and displayed proudly an American flag. Doesn't that look good? I don't have one on this boat. It's one of the things I have yet to complete. It's difficult to fly on this boat and make it look good. Well, the Steadfast was cool, but now she's gone. Looks like it'll be another at least a couple of hours until the Edmonton and the Nanaimo get here. So it's probably time to eat lunch with my hummus and my apple and my wrap that I made and maybe a Diet Dr. Pepper. And there's a bag of vegetables in here somewhere. So that's the story. Time for lunch. Look at how the water piles up in front of the bow of the Ultra Puma, as opposed to that Coast Guard cutter that came through that just sliced. This guy looks like he's going to leave a big wake too. This vessel is the Ironwood. There's a Job Corps site down in Astoria at Tongue Point, which is I believe it's an old Navy facility. And this boat used to be a Coast Guard vessel, but it's been converted into some sort of a seamanship program for Job Corps youth. Looks really good. This is the Nanaimo, but she cut the corner. I'd expected there's over to the right where that ship is, you might be able to see there's a red buoy right there. And you know, the old red right returning, I had expected her to pass on this side of that red buoy, but she didn't. Her Majesty's Canadian ship, Nanaimo. This guy stayed in the channel. His compatriot didn't do that. He went over there to the left. Don't know if he had a pilot with better knowledge, more confidence, or just prefers to stay in the channel, like some of us. Here is the truly American pride. And I think it's got its ramp down in the front like they used to do in the olden days when they would just pull up on a beach. I know when it went by, there was a ramp way up in the air. They just unloaded that from that trailer. Well, that's it for this trip. Had a good time, saw some interesting ships, saw a couple fun things at Klamath. Thanks for joining me.
I'm going home. I'm going home. Been a long time now and I'm going home.
This is the Odd Man, out.